A big welcome to the StarkNet Hackathon finale. Thank you to everyone that is here. It's been an amazing couple of weeks, and hopefully we give it the correct send-off it deserves. Moving on. So basically, what is happening today? Today, we're going to look at the 10 top projects from the StarkNet Hackathon. There's some amazing projects on display, so I really hope you enjoy it. And the pitches are going to be 3 minutes long, followed by a Q&A. We'll make that nice and quick so we can get through everything. And then after the pitches are done, Ben, Lucas, and Henry, the judges, myself and Andre are going to go into a quick break room, and we'll get the prize winners named as quick as possible and then come back and announce them. And just a little plan of action for today so you can see it. Obviously now we're going to have a quick overview. Hopefully in 5 minutes we'll get into the pitches, and then we'll go through the pitches as quick as we can, and then the judges will go into the break room, and then you'll come back and announce the winners, and then we will all go and hopefully celebrate the long weekend if you do have one. If you don't, I'm sure we'll get back to work tomorrow. And then just a little quick.
If I can interrupt, we have Eli with us for 5 minutes. He has to run to another meeting afterwards. So if you can just give him time to say a few words when you're done, that would be perfect.
Perfect. He can go in straight away. Eli, over to you from StarkNet.
Yeah, hi guys, Eli from StarkWare. I'm co-founder and president there. And it's so, I just want to say on behalf of all of the folks at StarkWare, we're grateful to see just the amount of grassroots building and on this platform. It makes us feel very, very lucky and fortunate to have such a strong developer team show up. I think it also shows that the approach that we thought would be best for scaling blockchains, which is to use Stark proofs alongside an accessible programming language, is something that the community wants. And we're looking forward to collaborating with all of you and seeing all the amazing things that you do. And thanks, Henry, for leading it on our side. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate that. And I think we'll also pop straight into Anthony, the CEO of Encode, to say a few words.
Also, guys, what I want to say, first of all, congratulations on getting this far. I have had a sneak peek at all of the submissions and, quite frankly, extremely impressed. And I think the finalists here are top quality, quite frankly. We were actually speculating internally whether this might be one of the highest qualities, given how really this is pretty much the first public event you can kind of play around with StarkNet and be kind of trained to use it. The quality has been extremely high. So well done, all of you. We look forward to the pitches. Hopefully many more things to come, many more opportunities, and this is but a launch pad to your success within the broader StarkNet ecosystem, whether it is through your project, through working on other projects, or getting a job. We very much look forward to see, and we know, are very confident you're going to go on to extremely high halcyon levels. Looking forward to the pitches, and handing back to you, Jake.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eli, for being here. It's such a privilege to have you here, and thanks, Anthony, for the kind words. Popping back as quick as I can. We'll quickly talk about what Encode is. We're basically a Web3 learning community. We host educational events like Educate series, boot camps, hackathons like StarkNet Hackathon, and accelerators. We work with some top protocols within the Web3 space, and hopefully we'll continue to work with them in the future. So some opportunities that may arise as a result of the hackathon, especially within StarkNet, are, I think, using the wonderful skills that were taught in the workshops by Henry, by Julian, and by Sean, and using these skills within the StarkNet and StarkWare ecosystem. I think what happens straight after hackathon is you basically become an ambassador, first of all, for StarkNet, As Anthony pointed out, it's kind of the first time we're able to work on StarkNet, and also an ambassador for Encode. So please stay in the Encode Discord and stay on the StarkNet Discord and keep going to the projects, and the events that have been hosted. It's an exciting time, an exciting space to be in. So stay within the ecosystem. And we've got a wonderful head of recruitment. Her name is Laura. She might say a few words later on while everyone's in the break room. And there's opportunity to get hired within the blockchain space. And then also we have funding. We've got some wonderful investors. We have an Encode fund and an Encode investment. It's called Encode Invest. I'm sure some of them are on the call, and this might be an opportunity for you to get funded and get funded through StarkNet and whatever the type of grants that arise. I think a huge thank you has to go to StarkNet. So thank you so much. Thank you to Henri. Thank you to Julian. Thank you to Sean for the StarkNet JS workshop, for the Argent X workshop, and I think I really speak for everyone when I say thank you so much to Henri. Your workshops were brilliant. Your sense of humor is always top class, as you can see with his beautiful hair. So thank you so much, and thank you to StarkNet for your generous prizes. This would not be possible without you at all. And then a quick thank you to Argent X, as we said. Thank you to Julian for running his lovely workshop. And a huge thank you must go to the Matchbox DAO team for running their workshop. Thank you to Yoni. I know you will be at Dev Connect next week, so that will be awesome as well. What was the StarkNet Hackathon? Basically, the StarkNet Hackathon gave you a huge opportunity to build on StarkNet, to code on Cairo. It's an exciting network. And I think you got to work with the ZK rollups, which is something that I'm really intrigued by, and I'm sure you were all intrigued by too. And you also got to work on a layer 2 network, that works with Ethereum. So that is just amazing. There were great prizes, great workshops. Can't keep saying that enough, how good the workshops were. The prize structure, I think this is what everyone would be looking out for. Maybe win a little bit of cash dollar. And there were 3 amazing challenges that were set for you. And so hopefully we'll see who the prize winners are in a little while. But let's get straight into the pitches. I think everyone knows their order. So we're going to hand over to Joe from Harpey to take us away. So enjoy.
So I'm Joe, and I'm happy to introduce you guys to Harpey, a music platform built on StarkNet that aims to create a direct connection between artists and fans and change the way the music industry is shaped. So about me quickly, I graduated with a master's in engineering 4 years ago. I've been in the crypto space for about 4 years as well, and I started to write smart contracts in Solidity over a year ago. I'm also a music producer, and I've released music in the past, which is why I'm very keen to see how technology can improve the music industry. So the music industry is one of these fields where intermediates account for the majority of the revenues. In 2022, artists only get around 12% of the total revenues of the industry. Another problem that is more common to all entertainment-related industries is that fans do not get rewarded for participating in an artist's growth, even though they arguably play a bigger part than platforms. And finally, current Web3 technologies are not suitable to be a viable solution, either because the network fees are too high or because of centralization issues. And this is why a technology of ZK rollups, such as StarkNet, are great networks to develop a platform tackling the issues aforementioned. So Harpey's protocol has 3 core principles. The first one is that it puts artists in the forefront, flipping the revenues chart by making artists earn the biggest part of the total revenues by receiving a royalty payment every time one of their songs is getting played. The second is that it gives artists more freedom, allowing them to fully control and customize the way they monetize their content. And finally, it puts fan in the picture, allowing artists to create communities around them that benefits not only the artists, but also the fans using a proof of fandom protocol. So the main protocol is currently relying on 2 smart contracts: the logic smart contract that stores both the information of users subscribe to the service and the funds to pay the artist, and the token contract, which follows an ERC 721 standard that stores token mapped to the songs uploaded. The protocol works as follows. When an artist uploads a song on the platform, it triggers 2 things: the minting function of the token contract that mints the token associated to the song, and the metadata of the song is uploaded on the cloud storage. Then a user can sign up to the platform against a subscription fee. And once signed up, they can browse through the songs and play the songs they want. And every time a song is getting played, a function is triggered on the logic smart contract that sends a royalty fee to the artist. So here's a quick demo of what the UX looks like. So we have an upload page where artists can upload their songs. And once the song is uploaded and it's a valid transaction on StarkNet, it can be browsed by user and they can listen to that song on the platform. So the roadmap for Harpey will be first to grow the team to develop an indexing tool that will bring more functionalities, and then to adapt a protocol fee strategy that will be able to map to the StarkNet evolution of the evolution of the fees on the StarkNet network. Then implement principles 2 and 3. So develop an ERC 1155 contract deployer to allow artists to monetize their content, and develop the proof of fandom protocol, which will allow artists to create a social token associated with them. And finally, the long term is decentralization to make sure both artists and fans can eventually have a voice in how the protocol evolves. Thank you very much for listening.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bravo.
No, well done.
Thanks.
Okay, over to the StarkNet team to ask any questions.
I got a quick question. So for the proof of fandom, are you gonna be wrapping any other functionality around, you know, what is kind of commonly conceived of as a social token?
Yeah, so it's not 100% defined yet, but the first basis, the idea we had in mind is an ERC 20 standard or any standard that would improve that standard to allow essentially a fungible token associated with the artist, but at the same time allowing fans to invest the amount they want to invest in that artist.
Cool.
Perfect. I think we'll call it there. Joe, thank you so much. And the Harpey team, thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Cheers.
We'll go straight to the next one. StarCombo, Nikita and your team, are you here?
Yes. Okay, perfect. Let's start. So during this hackathon organized by Encode and StarkNet, we built a StarkCombo. It's a pure combo-like web application that allows users to chain operations inside a single L2 transaction on StarkNet. So about our team, we are French students studying computer science and also members of CryptoSphere. So it's the biggest student association in France in the crypto space. We're also heavy users of DeFi, and we are really interested in helping Ethereum scale by building apps on scaling solutions. Let's now talk about the problem. So a lot of new promising protocols are created on StarkNet, but there is no way for end users to leverage DeFi's composability. So we are solving this by integrating multiple protocols inside our solution, and this allows users to make complex transactions easily. So now let's talk about features. So users will be able to manipulate basic blocks that represent an interaction with a smart contract, such as the approval for a token, a swap, a transfer, or providing liquidity to the liquidity pool. And so just by a simple drag and drop, users can chain blocks in a specific order. So that allows them to interact with several protocols inside a single app. So now I'll let Mathieu present you a demo.
Right. So to use the app, the user will need to have the Argent X wallet extension installed. And he just needs to connect his wallet and he'll be able to interact. So we have integration for Jedi Swap, MySwap, and upcoming Alpharoot Finance. And for now, you can swap tokens, for example, 50 tokens, add liquidity, and remove liquidity from liquidity pools. So you can see that the app shows you how much initial funds you need to provide to the transaction. And it also displays how much you're going to receive at the end of the transaction. So you can see that I'll need to fund 100 zero tokens, and I'll get 115 and 6 token 1. So once you're ready, you can just click send, and it will just check if you have enough funds in your wallet, and then it will send a request to the Argent wallet that will display a pop-up with all of the details of your transaction. So every smart contract call and every call data will be displayed in the Argent X pop-up. Once you're ready and you have checked everything, you can just sign the transaction and it will be sent to the StarkNet network, and voila. So what's next for StarkCombo? So immediately we want to do security check. We want to make sure that everything is secure and there are no vulnerabilities. We'll then launch a public beta on the StarkNet Girly test network by the end of Q2. And then we'll start onboarding new protocols, and such as, for example, Zkland, to expand the field of possibilities and leverage DeFi composability. And then we'll start developing new functionalities such as strategies sharing and other things we have in mind. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Over to StarkNet for any questions.
Yep, I have a question. So in StarCombo on Ethereum, when you're batching a bunch of interactions, you basically deploy a smart contract, and the bunch of transactions, the batch is atomic. Either they all execute or none of them execute. I don't think that's the case on Multicode for StarkNet. I'm curious how you approach this and how you think you can mitigate this for your users.
All right. So for now, we have just used the basic Argent X contract on the basic wallet smart contracts. So we have not deployed any smart contracts on our end, and we're only using the Argent X wallet contract. So maybe in the future, like Q4 or next thing, we'll start investigating how we can deploy our own contracts and how we can make atomic transactions. But for now, the system works with Argent X multi-call.
Also, just to complete the answer, you can chain the transactions by atomic way, so you can execute all of them or none of them. Then also you can try to execute some of them. So you have two possibilities with Argent smart contracts.
Very cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you to the StarCombo team. Next up, we'll go to MetaMaterial by Shugo.
Hey guys, our project name is MetaMaterial, and these are our team members. Please check out this our presentation link. The actual MetaMaterial is a resource sharing protocol for all blockchain games, and the players can randomly mint one material NFT every day. And so players can craft various items with material NFTs. And then these items can be used in any game by wrapping them into each gaming stuff. Yeah, let's see our demo. First of all, click the mint button, and then you can randomly get 10 material NFTs at the one time. Yeah, and in this time, let's craft a brick with 4 solids. And then 4 solids will be sent to the craft contract, and you will get the 1 brick NFT. And next, let's wrap a brick NFT to import and use it in one game. So far there's no the brick in my inventory in this game. So by the way, this game is one of our product called Phi. And please select the brick and do the wrap. Of course, you can unwrap this brick NFT to use it in other different games. So yeah, successfully I can import a brick NFT to the file. So imagine the situation the Minecraft is lack bricks, but on the other hand, Super Mario has enough brick blocks. Players will be able to transfer the brick from Mario World to Minecraft World with this solution. And even if one game has disappeared one day, you wouldn't lose your items, and be able to reuse those for another games. Okay, and unwrapping it then, yeah, so there's no more brick. So unwrapping was successful. Okay, in our future works, the MetaMaterial can be used to convert to any games and weapons, and also avatar. Also in our roadmap, we will apply for the Matchbox DAO program, and together we can develop on-chain gaming stuff using MetaMaterial NFTs. Thank you for listening.
Lovely, thank you so much. Over to the StarkWare team.
Hey, where are you storing the metadata for the NFTs?
Actually, we're storing the IPFS.
Cool. And can you go into a little more of the wrapping protocol? How a one game that wants to import a weapon, how does it understand the wrapping protocol?
So actually, we just wrapping the storing data, sending the storing NFT to our contract, and also our contract will messaging to the one game contract, and the two minting the one NFT.
So is it almost like a lock? It'll basically.
Yeah, it's kind of the breaching, right?
Okay.
If a game wants to implement, wants to integrate your product, can they submit materials, or do they have to use the list that you predefined?
Sorry, can I share again?
Yeah. If a game wants to integrate with you, can they submit a material, or do they have to comply with the list that you already have?
So actually, you can deploy the maybe the other material contract, and you can just set up maybe the 4 brick to maybe 1 brick house. So that's what this is really the composable structure. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much to the MetaMaterial team.
Thank you.
I think we will move on. Yeah. Over to CurveZero. Zan, you are on.
Okay. So perfect. Hi, guys. My name is Zan. I'm part of the CurveZero team. So CurveZero is a fixed rate loan protocol that's been built on StarkNet. So we'll get into some of the details in a second, but let's go through the team first. So I'm the founder. I'm a qualified actuary by profession, ex-TradFi investment banker. So I spent about 10 years at places like Citigroup and Barclays, typically on the trading desk. So lots of bond pricing and curve stripping experience. On the hackathon team, we go by the following names on Discord. So there's Bara, Bob Fati, Burntleaf, and Zan Crypto. We're a mixed bunch. We've got 2 based in the UK, 1 in France and 1 in SA. Typically, we've got very good back-end skills as well as finance skills. So what problem are we trying to solve? All right, so most lending platforms in crypto today typically let the user borrow at a variable rate. And that variable rate can spike sometimes to crazy levels. So there's a famous example on CoinDesk where somebody borrowed, refinanced their mortgage from 4% to 0.5 using MakerDAO. And then 6 or 9 months later, the variable rate shot up to 19.5%. Okay, so that's the problem. It's that when you're borrowing, you need fixed rates for predictability. We ran a survey recently and we found out that 68% of people say that when they're borrowing money, they would prefer to do it at a fixed rate. So what is the solution? So CurveZero is building a fixed rate loan protocol on StarkNet that will allow users to get fixed rate loans all on-chain, all on-chain cheaply and securely for any duration. Okay, so what's the progress like? So the backend is obviously all written in Cairo. It's about 4,000 lines at the moment, about 12 different contracts. That's all working and deployed on testnet. So the example I've got in front of you here is we've been now iterating on the front end. And what you can see is just a screen dump of some examples of the wallet obviously being connected, and we pull in certain data from the protocol itself. So we've got the total capital coming through, the total loans coming through, and then you can see things like the user's balance, his wrapped ETH balance. We've got a pricing oracle, so we got the wrapped ETH price coming through, and then some of our information coming from our settings contract, trying to then figure out what the total loan the user can take. So we've got a basic interface here that is just for testing purposes. But I think the key insight to kind of what sets CurveZero apart is that most fixed rate and variable rate protocols today typically set the rate by looking internally at their pools and utilization rates in order to set rates. Now, what CurveZero does, which is quite unique, is we use pricing oracles that are external, that are typically using CFI, DeFi, as well as TradFi data, and they're using all of this information to more accurately and efficiently set the rate for these loans. So this is kind of where we're at the moment, but I'm going to show you a sneak peek of what the product is going to look and feel like. So this is kind of what the product will look and feel like when it's done. So on the left-hand side, you can see our landing page. You can see on the right-hand side some of the protocol interface and how you would take loans, etc., and some data that you see. Still a lot of work to be done here. So a little bit text heavy, some stuff we need to still improve on, but that's what the product's going to look and feel like. So what's our roadmap? What's our future plans? Well, we're busy on the fundraise right now, and that's going reasonably well. I think it would go a lot better if we were to win the StarkNet Hackathon, but we'll be using some of those funds to hire a front-end specialist. One of the things that we're not particularly strong on is on the front end. So we've got a guy already lined up that we think will be a really great complement to the team. And then after that, we want to do a sequence of audits. So this is a DeFi protocol. We take the security of user funds very, very seriously. So we'll do at least a minimum of 2 audits before we go to mainnet, maybe even 3. We think a launch date of maybe Q3, Q4 is probably possible, but it all depends on obviously funding and audits, etc. So that's CurveZero. It's a fixed rate loan protocol that's been built on StarkNet. It allows any user to borrow at a fixed rate for any duration. And the key insight here is that we use pricing oracles that are using external data to price these loans very efficiently. Thank you very much.
Great presentation. Thank you so much, Zan. Over to the StarkWare team.
Yep. Hi. So 2 questions. The first one is, we notoriously lack oracles on StarkNet. How did you tackle that problem? And can you share your lesson learned with others? The second one is, you're going to have liquidity pooled for your collaterals on L2. Do you plan, or are you exploring depositing them in liquidity pools on L1 to get extra yield?
Sure. So 2 great questions. So on the first one, how do we solve the Oracle problem? So we basically spun up our own dummy Oracle, basically. So we've got a simple contract which we can reference for prices. So it's not spooling new prices all the time, but when we do a soft launch, we'll get something just spooling prices all the time. So it's a very basic contract. Anybody can actually go to it. You could go to it and actually just submit a price and it would accept that, right? So just basic for testing. When it comes to talking to things on L1 for using some of that collateral to earn yield, 100% that's on our roadmap. We think we might integrate more with somebody on the layer 2 already. So we've got a name in mind already in some people that we've been talking to explore that relationship. I'm not going to say who that is right now, but we got to kind of maybe watch the space to see what happens there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, perfect. Thanks, Zan. We will move on. Next up is Metabase.
Hello, everyone. We are Metabase, the infrastructure for NFT apps, no-code platform for creators, and on in low-cost layer 2 ecosystem. And here is our team. We have a lot of experience in technical, like we from Google, Amazon, Harmony One, PhD in computer sciences. I used to be the co-founder of Harmony One, a top 60 project in CoinMarketCap, and Vinler here is the CEO of a game studio. So what problem we trying to solve? So for creators, it's not easy for them to publish NFT collection in layer 2. And for the game studio, like for the NFT and game project, infrastructure is not their skills. It takes a lot of time for them to build reliable and stable infrastructure. And it should take a lot of time for them to study different ecosystems like Polygon, Solana, or StarkWare. Another problem is the loading the NFT images inside the game directly from IPFS is a pain. And also like the game studio, they don't have the expertise to build the marketplace DeFi component, and they shouldn't. And what solution? So we are the expertise in the field. So for creator, we can build a no-code platform to publish NFT collection with a good UX. And for the game studio, we are building the NFT infra for them, and their backend only needs to communicate with us by the Web2 REST API. And we are different from Immutable X, like the project owners can keep their own private key in our model. We're also building the CDN for NFT to provide a better loading UX experience. And with Metabase, the game studio, we also get automatically the marketplace, the NFT analytics, and also other DeFi components. So next, for the demo, I want to show you on the work that we have done. So it's the list of work that we have done. And so here's the landing page. Here's on the API that we implemented for for the projects, how to create project, right? And for players here, for NFTs and the NFT templates, and for the marketplace. And here on the API written in the StarkWare, I'll show you the demo later. And here we have the demo of a game in Web 2. We convert in Web 3, and how do we do that in the demo? So we have a marketplace here. So here the dashboard of the platform infrastructure. But you can use UI, but mostly you with the APIs. So let me play the demo here. So in this demos, so first, I already skip a lot because we had a long demo. So here we're trying to mint the token. So and then we try to sign up for that user. And after sign up, there's some verification stuff, but I skipped it here. And then we try to transfer. That NFT to that players in the game. Yeah, it's usually do it with the API, but here for the demo we do it in the UI here. And then here we can log in and see all the NFT that we got here, and they can load and they can play the games here, right? And then they can try to withdraw from L2 to L1. Yep. and here what happened in the Argent, and here in Explore StarkNet, and we can do yeah. So that's pretty much about the demo. There's a lot of work, but we don't have limited time to show you guys. But what is our future plan? So our future plan is, because we already done most of the works in our prototype here. We need to productionize on the products here, and we need some fundraising to do it in the production level. That's all from my perspective.
Great stuff. Over to StarkWare.
Hey, so if you're using a strategy like IPFS or Arweave, you're dealing with some sort of like content ID, and you have immutable permanent storage. Are you guys implementing this behind the CDN?
So actually, like for the first, let's forget about the CDN stuff first. But we using StarkWare to build two types of like NFT, like 721 and 1155. But because we want to build the infrastructure for the game studio, and inside the game, when they loading the images, if they loading directly from IPS, we want to build another layer, like extra layer for them, so that like they don't have to think about how to build a better UX for the images loading from the IPFS. But we take care of that for them.
It's really cool. So, but do they have some assurance of like redundancy that image is always going to be fetchable at some CID?
So basically, the architecture is like this. So, I don't get a question. What do you mean by redundancy?
Well, like let's say that you guys didn't use IPFS, or you're not dealing with some sort of like libp2p file sharing system, and let's say you're just in a cloud infrastructure, and that server that was storing the image and the CDN cache both go down. Can the game fall back on some permanent storage somewhere?
So there's another project that we are collaborating called Matchbox, which is they're building the decentralized API, and in that architecture they can build the decentralized CDN for NFT as well. So basically, there's two layers: the gateway and the node. The node here, usually you can run Ethereum or some other network, like, but here they can run the IPFS. In each region, so we have another layer like called the gateways. So first, you want to try to get the data, the images from the gateways, and if there's no images in that layer, they can fetch directly from the node level, and they fetch this, and we cache in that level. And next time they will go get there and they see that, and it's just respond and run by the community, and it will be verified and run by proof of stake and economic sensitive. But here's in our project, we try to build not only the CDN. I think the main thing is it just doesn't make sense for the game studio to take care of all the things that they not have the expertise. They don't have the expertise in the infrastructure. They don't have the expertise in blockchain. They don't have the time to study different ecosystems like Solana, Avalanche, or StarkWare. So what they want to do is they want to talk with us in Web2 API. And I want Solana, I want to mint like 1,000 NFT, and then do everything for me. You have to do all the management for me. For example, like after that, like we have to build analytics for them, the DeFi like staking for them, like because they don't have the expertise in that areas. But we are one stop. We build everything for them. They only focus on one thing in their game.
Awesome, cool project.
Thank you so much to the Metabase team. Next up is Salamaze. Unfortunately, they are on a plane right now, traveling. So they've asked me to do a recording of them. So I will do that.
Hello, my name is Vladislav. I will talk about my project called Salamaze. The source code of the project, together with a short technical report, is publicly available on my GitHub. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me on my email. My project is an experiment in zero-knowledge technology. I was excited when I found the StarkWare Hackathon. I heard a lot about StarkWare ZK tools and saw this as a great opportunity to learn the Cairo programming language. But my main goal was to test if these fantastic tools enable to solve some graph theory problems in zero knowledge. The concrete task is to create an eShop with maze puzzles. I created a software which can generate random instances of maze puzzles of various shapes and sizes. The images of the mazes are delivered to the customer to solve by hand. The solution of the puzzle is hidden from the customer to avoid spoiling the fun of solving the puzzle. Instead, a zero-knowledge proof of solution existence is generated in Cairo language and delivered with the puzzle. The demo is available at this address. The most valuable contribution of my work is not the application front end, but the puzzle representation that allows to make a Cairo proof and the Cairo code. The application has, in fact, just 2 screens. So I decided not to make a movie, but just to show you a few screenshots. On the first screen, the user selects the size and the shape of the maze. We can generate 4 geometries of the maze and 4 sizes. Then we can press a button, and in a few seconds, a unique maze appears. The picture of the maze can be downloaded either as a PDF or as a SVG file, but we are most interested in the proof. The user can download the data files which contain the graph structure of the maze and are used in the proof. Then there is a prover transcript which contains the cryptographic elements of the proof and hashes of all input data. Also, the Cairo program and a technical report is included. I don't have any plans to develop this particular maze application in the future, but I believe that many useful things may be created by combining ZK proofs with graph algorithms using StarkWare Cairo.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Got a maze. Unfortunately, he is a solo hacker, and that's why none of his team members could be here. And I don't think I can answer any questions on his behalf. But we will move on to the next team. So over to Vaulti.
So hello, everyone. My name is Hamza, and today I will present Vaulti, the project that we participated with in StarkNet Hackathon. So first of all, I will start by presenting the team. So we are Antoine, Vincent, and me, Hamza, and we are the KPMG France blockchain team, and we help people every day to get into this amazing world of Web3 and blockchain. Now I will try to present the project that we participated. It's a DeFi layer 1, layer 2 bridge that enabled users to deposit their layer 1 ERC20 tokens on StarkNet in order to enjoy the layer 2 benefits in terms of numbers and fees of transactions. In addition to this, the user of our DApp benefits from a stake and reward in order to encourage them to use our vault. Now let's have more fun and try to see this in real life. Here in this video, Antoine is trying to explain to you how does it work. Tell me if this sound doesn't work.
Welcome to Vaulti. The first step will be to connect your wallet. You can choose either one. Let's connect my MetaMask first, and then I will have to connect my Argent X wallet for StarkNet. And let's say I want to deposit 20 tokens. We'll first have to give my approval. And when the transaction is accepted, I can bridge my tokens. We can easily monitor our transaction and the state of our message using Ethoscan and interacting with the official StarkNet contract. As you can see here, the one indicates that my message is pending and waiting to be consumed on L2. My balance will automatically update when StarkNet receives the message and trigger the transaction. Here we go, 160. Now let's say that I want to withdraw tokens. Again, I will have to give my approval. It's an Argent X pop-up. Then I will first have to trigger my withdrawal on L2. I will have to wait for my transaction status to be accepted on L1. Now that my transaction is accepted on L1, I can trigger the withdrawal on L1. And I can see that my balance has been updated.
That's it. I think now it's more clear. Let's jump back to the presentation. For the future plans that we are planning to do is to go to the mainnet. Since we are always on the testnet, we could also add a token faucet for the ERC20 token test that we're using, so everyone could try the platform with us. Also, we could improve the UX by monitoring on-chain events And we could also help developers use our DApp by writing documentation in an API. And the most important thing is to integrate more real ERC20 tokens so our DApp could be more usable in general. Thank you everyone for listening, and it was a pleasure to be in this hackathon. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Hamza, and thank you to the Vaulti team. StarkWare, over to you.
Yeah, I have a question. Where does the staking reward come from, and in what token will it be?
Okay, so for now, it's just a proof of concept. So the staking reward, it's just automatic in the smart contract that we built. But for the in real life, what are we planning to do? It's like, for example, to use some layer one yield projects like Aave. So you could deposit your tokens on the layer one. They could be used to do some yield farming, and at the same time, you could have your proof tokens on layer two to do another transaction. So that's the goal.
Okay, great.
Any more questions? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. You will head over to Jamie from StarkNet, lot InsurTech DAO.
Okay. Net Insurance DAO. It took IoT sensor data from within a trusted enclave, like say Intel SGX, and it utilized the computational integrity and scalability that was provided by StarkNet to verify, compute, and eventually record membership records through NFTs and payout balances and updates to those in the DAO, and did it with a fraction of the cost of a traditional L1. Before a quick demo, this is the team, and we enjoyed thoroughly working with Encode and StarkNet, and now let's bounce to the demo. So you can see two of our contracts on Voyager showing the read arguments for the ERC721 and the DAO contract. Then this moves on to connecting to the Argent wallet, and eventually going to the mint component. And in the mint component, what you're going to see is the score levels, cost, and ratings being brought in from the DAO contract through read calls, and the device IMEI is coming in, and then you can pick your timestamp and data points, and then it will call to the IoT data. You can also upload an image here, says Chris Farley, and then you will get the mint data. The server will crunch that data. We'll upload the image to the IPFS URI. We'll get a bunch of metadata, and then we'll pin it with Pinata, and we'll get a hex IPFS URI here. And briefly here, you can kind of see the metadata. So then that will have a token URI, and that is what will be the score, and the token URI is what can be used to then mint and join the DAO. So that's a very quick overview of what we have. Okay, so as far as next steps go, one thing, of course, would be to utilize ZK proofs and for scalability, but also for privacy purposes, but large-scale verification of lots of data and verification of possibly computation on that data could be done in a cheap manner with the proof verification being Polylog. Also, in a similar vein, utilizing the batch verification properties is an interesting cost reduction that we could do in the future. And finally, extending these models to be more accurate, utilize more information, possibly even utilize the timestamps and velocities and location GPS, for instance, with those speed limits with APIs and weather events with those APIs. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie. Over to the StarkWare team.
Hey, so so it looks like you're connecting to the Argent X, which is only currently in the browser, and the browser doesn't have any access to the IMEI, right? So how are you getting the IMEI?
So basically, the IMEI would be the manufacturer device that would have to be registered. So you would sell this device. It has a private key because it has a trusted enclave like an Intel SGX or an ARM trust zone, and then you would have to verify that with the manufacturer or whatever. So it would have that public key. And then that IMEI, once it gets registered, it's going to send data and sign it. And then that's what the verification is checking against. Is it saying, hey, you've got all this data, I'm going to put it into a signature using like hash date. So I used hash date, and you make this message. And then what you're doing is verifying that the private key you get is the private key that was registered to the device. Does that make more sense?
Understood. Yeah. And then, so what signature scheme are you using?
It's ECDSA for now, just because that's what is easier to use with the Python script that I wrote to use hash state to just hash like there's like 6 data points and just hash them together. That is a little bit heavy for IoT. So, we would maybe want to do some of the more lightweight if possible. But right now in Cairo, that can be a little bit tricky because ECDSA is into the OS and the others wouldn't be. So I'd have to look into that. But for right now, it's ECDSA.
So are you checking, is it NIST or SECP? Because like, are you checking the signature from the device on chain?
So actually in this example, to make it faster, what's actually happening is server side, I'm actually checking against a server address. I did not implement the ZK proof. So what would have been the next step would be actually you would have a whole ZK proof, and then I could pass in like an array of data and it would check that actually that was verified. But for right now, server side, I'm actually making like Solidity style, just doing that where I'm making a signature of all the data, and then I'm checking that it comes from the trusted server key that was uploaded to the contract.
Cool.
So I'm only doing one verification to make it quicker, but that's not really how the flow should be in an extension. Yeah.
I have a question. So when we talk about insurance very quickly, the question of conflict resolution comes in. Have you thought about that and how you handle disputes?
Yeah, so right now there's just a very simple mechanism of you have a guaranteed payout, and you have a certain, according to your score, you have a certain pay in, and then you have a max cap on the payout, but there's actually no mechanism to like see if it's a valid, like if I make a claim for the max cap of my insurance to pay out, I don't actually have a way to verify that right now. But what I do have is an incentive to where then you are not able to pull out. So at the end of the round, there's a certain time of the round, like say every 6 months. If you do make a claim, then you can't get whatever's left over in the pool. You can't get a piece of that. So I try to incentivize not making a claim. And then obviously bad drivers have to pay more to join the DAO and good drivers pay less. But other than those incentive mechanisms, there's no way to actually verify it right now. That's where something like an Oracle might come into play. Yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jamie. Next up, we have Rix in Cairo.
All right. So what is Rix in Cairo? Basically, I'm sure a lot of you guys have used fractional.art. So basically what happens is in fractional.art, you give it an NFT and you fractionalize it and give small bits and pieces to different people. And the problem with fractionalization is, what if somebody loses their private key, right? Does that expensive NFT is lost forever? How do you reconstitute it, basically? So the way to solve this problem is the way fractional.art does it is to say it can be reconstituted if anybody buys out the lost key, for example. So whenever you fractionalize, you set a reserve price for your a fraction, basically, and you can update it as you go along. But it's a very you always have to remember you have to update the reserve price. If the price of the NFT is going up, you want to update it constantly. So basically there are two problems with that. One is the undesired buyout. Somebody might come in and buy you out, and you might not want to sell your share at that point. So that's one problem with that sort of mechanism. The other thing is coming up with the actual updating your price of your share constantly. How do you do that? It's like cognitively it's hard, and it's not an easy thing to do. Well, you have to constantly do it, and it's not ideal. So basically, that is one problem. And the Rix sort of tries to solve this issue, and the way it does is it will take Sorry, the mechanism is you take an NFT, for example, and you will deploy it. An owner can, let's say, fractionalize it into 100 bits. And over time, there will be new RICs, shards, or whatever you want to call it, pieces of that NFT will be added. So basically, an NFT is going through an inflation. Starting with, let's say, one NFT is divided into 100, and over time you will add more inflation to it, and anybody can bid on it on a regular basis. So they can increase their share slowly of that NFT, and in the end they can do a buyout basically. This is a paper by Paradigm. They sort of did it. I'm not sure if it's in production, and nobody has done the production part of it, and the reason I think it's a little bit, the UI is complicated. Even when I'm testing it out, it's a little bit interesting. So there are two parts to it. There's one is a staking contract. Basically, I implemented a simple staking contract, and you fractionalize the NFT, and you whatever, like let's say 100 RICs or shards are fractionalized, and then you put it into the staking contract. And the reason you put it into a staking contract is whenever new shards are issued in auctions and you bid on them, the reward goes into the staking contract basically. And in the end, basically people can exchange their shards and RICs for any reward token, basically ERC20 token. So basically there are two main contracts. RICs is the main contract, of course, but staking contract is held for reward sort of mechanism. Future edition would be some sort of a RICs registry so that they can be discoverable. Or if you're trying to build a sort of a registry on top of it, make it more discoverable, all the NFTs which have been fractionalized. I can to explain a little bit more. I wonder if I could just give you a little bit. I was trying to record a demo. It's a little bit hard to do a demo. All right, so this is the basically the interface for the RICs implemented, the RICs implementation that I've deployed in Gertie. Is you basically give it when you want to activate a certain NFT, you would give it the token ID and the token contract address. And this will set up the process for the fractionalization. And then anybody can come in and do bidding, basically. You can, well, first is the activate, then is the start auction. And then anybody can come in and bid here. So the problem I have a little bit is like, normally you would pay directly with Ether. Here, like you have to set up the approval process beforehand so that you can basically, let's say if I want to bid 10 test tokens, there has to be already approved 10 test tokens, which can be sent to this contract, basically. So that was, I was trying to set that up as a little bit, yeah, I couldn't record the video in time. So again, you activate with the token, and you can set it the parameters, where the parameters are inflation, basically, like over time, how much inflation you want. The starting, what's the starting? Basically, if you want NFT should go into 100 pieces, that would be the starting parameters, one of the important starting parameters. And basically the owner would say activate, and then anybody can start the auction, different parties can bid on it, and whoever wins the winning bid will have those, depending upon the inflation rates, the new RICs will be assigned to him and staked into the staking contract, and the losing bids will have their ERC20s refunded when you do an end auction. You can always do a buyout as well, where you can completely buy the person out. There's a formula where, there's a certain formula where like it's proportional to the unowned fraction of the NFT, the amount of money, basically. So the amount of money that you will have to bid to do a complete buyout will be let's say if you, a lot more money will have to be paid out if you don't own 30%, as compared to if you don't own 10%. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, just it's not a very pleasant UI at this moment. That's one of the challenges with Rex. It's a lot more complicated than, let's say, fractional.art.
Perfect. Thank you so much to Rix of Cairo. Over to the StarkWare team for some questions.
I have a question. Can you wrap in this any kind of NFT, or do you have to integrate this directly in the NFT contract?
No. This is, yeah, any NFT basically. Yeah, like you can give it any contract here,
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think we'll move on to Parallel X.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Parallel X. We are a treasury management platform built on StarkNet. Okay, so this is our team. We have Yubo from the product, me from the engineering, and we have Kenny from the design. So what's the problem we're trying to solve here? So treasury management is a necessity for any blockchain-based projects and DAOs, but due to high fees, there's a limited features and functionality right now on L1. And this lack of payment tools is creating a barrier for adoption. So what's the solution? Solution that we have is an account abstraction-based multi-signature wallet that has the ability to manage wallet owners, or you can call them team members. And the most important thing is that it's extensible. So plugins can be developed and added to the wallet, such as spending rules, bulk payments, stream payments, DeFi integration, and social recovery. All right, so here's a demo. So I'm actually not gonna play this demo, and instead I'm gonna play this one. So first you log in, sorry, it's a bit too fast. I'll go back to the beginning. So connect to MetaMask, you create an account with a name, and then you can add different admins. And so this is a pre-filled one, you add, and then you create the wallet, and now you have this wallet. And at the top, we have the approvals. So you can now here see the approvals that you need to do in a multi-sig, similar to any multi-signature. And then you can click on the history and see your approval history. And so for our code, so what we have done is that we have taken OpenZeppelin's account abstraction implementation, and we have extended it to include all these multi-signature functionalities, such as adding multiple public keys or a single public key, removing public key, and changing the approval threshold. And it's completely backward compatible with OpenZeppelin. We've also written some test cases here where you can run it, and it basically tests all the use cases of the wallet, such as adding multiple public keys, the changing threshold, and all of that. Cool. So what's next? This is our roadmap. So right now we have already implemented the multi-signature functionality. It's completely functional. You can go to our GitHub and check it out. And we are working now on integrating this UI that I've shown you. We have actually so many things planned for the UI. And the next after that would be adding the extensibility feature, which will allow us to develop multiple plugins that we will start with, such as the social recovery and the spending rules and the bulk payments. As these are the most wanted right now features. And after that, we would be working on DeFi integration and stream payments, and also integrating Ethereum native signature support, so that we can integrate different wallets, not just Argent X. So yeah, this is it. Thank you so much. Please head to our GitHub, check it out. It's completely, you can run it, and it's completely functional.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Over to the StarkWare team.
Thank you. This looks interesting. I have a question. Do you plan, or have you integrated some cross-layer functions, like where you have is your wallet capable of manipulating L1 assets?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. We have it implemented. So if you see here, we have this transfer from L1 to L2 and L2 to L1. And actually, the reason why we wanted to enable the Ethereum native signature support is to allow that in particular, because now you can use your MetaMask to connect, and then you will see your account, and then you can actually deposit certain assets from layer 1 to your layer 2 account. And like here you can see that it kind of like functions like a bridge, but also you can do a transfer, like you can do transfer directly from layer 2 to layer 1 through that. Like basically you don't have to worry about the concept of layer 1 and layer 2. You can just do it all in one place, and also use the normal sending, receiving. You can even create multiple accounts. We have, so and you can change the settings and all of that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Quick question. Are you planning on being downstream compatible with OpenZeppelin's account abstraction contract? So if they integrate new feature sets, are you guys going to integrate the same ones and just keep the multi-sig functionality?
Yes, absolutely. We are actually exactly planning to do that. And right now it's completely compatible with it. So if you want to create only one account owner, it will work normally. So let's say now somebody has created an extension wallet that actually takes OpenZeppelin's as its underlying account abstraction implementation. If you swap it with our implementation, it will work from the get-go because it's completely compatible, but it adds extra features to it. And we're planning to keep it this way.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That concludes all the pitches. Anthony will now kind of...
Right, who's going to the breakout room? Well, so that sounds like an open question. I do not mean it as open. I mean it's a question to change.
So Ben, Henry, Lucas, myself, and Omji.
Right. Hey, everyone. While that's going on, we're actually going to have a break. So what's happening now, we're going to do some judging. This is the more boring parts of the day, where they go to a private Zoom room and talk through the project, allocate the prizes. While we're doing that, we're delighted to have our wonderful head of talent, Laura, who's going to give a little bit of a quick overview of opportunities for you on the recruitment side and getting a job side throughout the Encode kind of community. So Laura, handing over to you, really.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and well done on your fantastic projects. I think I've met a few of you, but there's a lot of unfamiliar names. So I just wanted to say hello. So I run the talent side of Encode Club. So that basically entails us supporting you throughout your kind of next career steps. So that's kind of everything from kind of career coaching, so supporting you defining your kind of career goals and planning on how to kind of achieve what you're looking to achieve. We also support on your kind of profiles and applications, so looking over CVs, LinkedIn's, GitHubs, basically how to optimize all of those different profiles which support you getting jobs in the future. The key kind of part of what we do is obviously introducing you to companies that are part of our network and big protocols who are looking to hire fantastic talent like all of you. So we work with a number of great companies in the Web3 space. So yeah, more than happy to discuss those in a bit more detail. So from there, obviously you'll potentially find a few which might be interesting, and then we'll also support you with your interview preparation, getting ready for those, scheduling them, making sure your life is basically as easy as possible, and then hopefully getting to the point of negotiating offers and salaries. So I know it's very, very quick overview, but I just want to say hello and I invite anyone who's interested in talking about different opportunities. You might not be looking right now, but always open to having a chat and talking about what your potential options could be in the future down the line. So what I'll do is I'll pop in my Discord and Twitter for everyone. If you would like to book a call or just have a chat, then just ping me.
Awesome. If anyone has any questions, please put them into chat. Otherwise, Laura, thank you very much for that. Very nice overview, and we are more than happy to help. What I'm going to talk about now is the other side of the coin, which is the investment side. Encode is very lucky to have a dedicated kind of fund, small fund that backs stuff coming out of the ecosystem. As long as you have been part of an Encode investment, Encode program in some capacity, you do count. So a lot of you, usually it's a case we'll reach out to you if we want to consider, but if you do want any help raising rounds or advice, please do contact myself directly. We've already, as I say, we'll be probably reaching out to people who we think are perhaps suitable, and particularly if you can win a prize today and help you also perhaps get a grant from StarkWare to continue your development further. But there'll be plenty more events coming up. We have a kind of packed schedule coming up in Encode over the coming weeks and months for you to kind of get involved with. That hopefully some of you will join us for. I'm just going to get my list now. So if anyone wants to be separately, all of you, if you take part in this hackathon, I probably know how to code in Solidity, but if you do want to code in Solidity, we have monthly Solidity bootcamp courses happening. This is with 4 days a week for 8 weeks with a dedicated teacher to help you go from being a Web 2 developer to being a trained Encode stamped, rubber stamped Solidity developer. Those will be, keep watching on the socials and on the emails for those, but that'll be running monthly. We also have hackathons coming up, Tezos, About Start, Dfinity, dedicated kind of another Layer 2 hackathon, a Polygon hackathon, some Chainlink hackathons, Harmony hackathons, pretty much every ecosystem a hackathon will happen. Well, obviously, we look forward to having some very good StarkNet programming as well for you to continue your development journey, because you have done the hard bit. You've invested in Cairo. You've built up an incredibly defensible skill that is extremely valuable in the space right now. We hope you go on to next steps. Encode will also be going around the world to physical events. We hope to meet you face to face. If any of you are in Amsterdam, we'd love to see you. We've got an event in Amsterdam next week with Her DAO, Day of Education. We'll drop the Eventbrite there if any of you would like to join that event. We will be in Miami for Permissionless. We'll be in Austin for Consensus, Paris in July, and many other events around the world. Pretty much will be some Encode presence. We hope to see you at a hackathon in person, or a hacker house, or a education day with Encode. Another big thank you to our wonderful sponsors who have obviously to StarkWare, also Argent X, to Matchbox DAO, who've all helped to run this event. We also had the brilliant Sean from Play Oasis, who came and gave a talk as part of the workshops. So thank you to all our partners who've helped make this event, and well done to all you guys, really. I say this pretty much every event, and maybe it's a bit of a cliche now, but you really are incredibly early. This is one thing we see when we look back at the data of our programs from years ago. That is that the people that were there at the early kind of rumblings of an ecosystem go on to be rock stars, pretty much consistently. So you being involved, StarkNet is one of the hottest ecosystems to be building on right now. So you being involved this early is absolutely fantastic. You being a Cairo expert, or at least someone who's familiar with Cairo, is fantastic, and it really stands you in great stead to take advantage. So really well done to you for getting involved and enjoying the content and turning yourself into this online event. So we're very pleased to see that. The judges have decided. So we're going to come back, and now we can announce all the prize winners.
Thank you so much to all the teams that submitted such wonderful projects, and thank you to your pitches. We have decided upon the winners, and there is, for the first challenge, the Layer 2 DApp, build a DApp on StarkNet challenge. In second place, we had a tie, and it is between StarCombo and StarkNet InsurTech DAO. So well done to you.
Bravo.
Bravo, bravo.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And in first place, which was pretty convincing, is CurveZero. Well done to CurveZero. Unbelievable project.
Woo-hoo, bravo.
Tough crowd. And then moving on to the next challenge, to the layer 1, layer 2 challenge DApp, which is build a DApp on StarkNet and Ethereum challenge. In second place was Vaulti. Congrats to Vaulti.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Now you guys have to leave your job at KPMG and go full Web3. Sorry, guys.
Exactly. That's it.
And in first place was Parallel X, a great project as well. Congratulations.
Woohoo!
And that rounds up all the prize winners. Congratulations. There is an open track challenge that everyone knows about, and StarkNet has decided to just kind of internally decide who this is going to be, and we will be in touch with you shortly. But a big congratulations to everyone. Henry, have you got anything you would like to say?
I just want to thank everyone again for their time over these past few weeks. It has been very interesting to work with all of you, with all of your questions. We learned a lot from you. I hope you learned a bit from us. We're looking forward to having you build more projects on StarkNet. We're excited to have your creativity working with us. And I want to give a big thanks to the Encode team. You guys have been stellar professionals. You led it from A to Z in a perfect, seamless manner. So thanks again for that.
Perfect. Thank you to probably the best judge I've ever seen.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will announce this on Twitter now, and you'll hear from us in terms of all prizes. And this will go up on YouTube and the Medium tomorrow. And a big thank you to Jake for well comparing this event. And for otherwise, guys, have a wonderful evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, and see you all very soon. Thank you very much. Congratulations, everyone. Bye, guys.